Ken Bednaz, VP of Application Engineering at Telit. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Chris.
So if we're looking at the landscape of cellular IoT right now, we have 2G and 3G networks shutting down. We have 5G looming in the future, giving us ultra high speeds and very reliable networks. But then we also have this special flavor of 4G LTE, the low power wide area or mobile IoT networks. Tell us a little bit more about this and why the market and enterprises should be so excited for this opportunity.
Yeah, Chris, in the past, what we did is we were using cell phone technology. So 2G and 3G were specifically designed for cell phones. It did not take into account what the IoT marketplace is looking for, the IoT application devices needed. And so we're talking about cell phone technology that was waking up every 1 second looking for an incoming voice call. We're talking about stuff that was not optimized for size and cost. And so what has happened now within the 3GPP standard is we now have a low power wide area technology with LTE Cat M1 and narrowband 1 that started in release 13 of 3GPP specification. And the beauty about these is these are pure ground up IoT technologies that are really focused on reducing size, cost, power. And that's kind of the three aspects of what the marketplace has been asking for.
That's excellent. And what are some of the applications or IoT deployments that enterprises can expect with these? Why is this going to create the next big bubble of IoT growth?
Yeah, so I can walk through a few examples. I think one of the examples is, say, a water meter in the ground or some kind of sensor that needs 10 years life of battery. Right now, that's very difficult to do with the traditional 2G and 3G cell phone technologies, but with category M1 or narrowband 1, they now have different modes, low power modes with extended DRX and power save mode, PSM mode, which allow you to extend that battery life significantly. So we're talking 10, 15 years of battery life for sensors. And so we really did a good job of defining, some key aspects of it. I think as you extend into different aspects of LPWA with Cat-M narrowband 1 is also the extended coverage. And so now we have a better RF link budget. It allows us to get better in-building penetration, better penetration into parking decks or buildings. And so now we have cellular working, throughout buildings where we didn't have before. So some people are in the basement of their house or inside a parking garage with no cellular coverage. LTE category M1 and narrowband really changed that, extends the link budget, which is really important.
That's excellent. So that sounds like that's the rise of smart buildings. That's the rise of smart cities, because you're going to have sensors that are going to have extended battery life. People aren't going to have to touch them, and they're going to last a long time and not be too expensive as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you touched on public safety and smart city. It's really amazing what's happening, and there's a lot of sensors that are trying to be deployed now. We're talking about sensors on street lights, that can detect sound. They can detect air quality. They can detect whatever many temperatures, and so we're being very, very much more proactive. I think in the old days you had to wait to somebody to call in a fire or a gunshot, and that's really changing now with the low power wide area technologies. I mean, their noise detection for graffiti or gunshots is really informing the first responders a lot sooner and getting them out to marketplace a lot quicker, which is really important.
Excellent. So that's some exciting applications for enterprises and society at large. But of course, there's always going to be different things you have to watch out for when you're considering making a low power wide area or mobile IoT deployment like this. So what are the things that organizations should be looking out for when they're deciding how to roll out to market?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, cellular technology is evolving very quickly. We are now at 4G LTE, which has a very long lifespan ahead of us, but we have to, understand that maintaining these devices, device management, firmware updates are really important. And so, one thing that Telit tries to do is we try to make sure that we're the easiest module provider to work with, and we give you a very, short time to market by creating value-added features. And so we are really focused around device management, firmware updates, all the key aspects that IoT developers need to have in their pocket to get to market and sustain growth in the marketplace. And so we're rolling out our new value add called One Edge. And so it's going to really focus around device management capabilities, SIM-wise, which is the UICC technology, photo capabilities, so we can keep these devices running in the field for 10 or 20 years.
That's excellent. And I could imagine the photo capability would work certainly to make sure you have the right functions that you need for a device, or if you're going to update functions, let's say. There's also a security aspect as well. You have to keep up to date with things, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think security is a bigger and bigger concern around any technology, but especially cellular and public safety. And so, we are working very hard to make sure that we have the best security capabilities in the product, and then having the device management and photo allows us to deliver those patches or changes that are needed very in timely manner.
Tell us a little bit about SimWise and how this is going to also, this type of technology will enable the low power wide area revolution.
Yeah, there's been a lot of development over the last 10 years in SIM technology or ICC technology, and basically it started with physical SIM cards. And so there's different form factors of physical SIM cards with a SIM card holder, and that has, that poses some security risks where people taking out the SIMs or swapping the SIMs. And so about 5 years ago, the industry moved to an embedded SIM card or a solderable SIM card, which is called eSIM. So people could then solder down the connections, but again, it was still accessible to be cut out potentially. And so what we're doing is we're moving to a new SIM technology that we call SimWise, which is actually built into the module itself. And so there's no need for extra components, no need for extra provisioning. So again, it's all about how do we get to mass deployments and mass adoption with the highest level of security, and SimWise is the way to go.
When we're looking at low power wide area, and certainly an application or a solution like SimWise could help, what international considerations should we be making based on maybe network rollouts or trying to have a device that can work in multiple locales?
Yeah, so I think the other thing that Release 13 of the specification with Cat-M and Narrowband 1 got right is they architected a technology that could easily deploy around the world. And so we're talking about LT Category M products, Narrowband 1 products from Telit that support both those technologies, that support over 20 bands. And so we're talking about single devices that can be deployed around the world. So it really helps our partners scale their business. So now you don't have to guess whether certain network operators are going to deploy Cat M1 or Narrowband 1. Both will be supported. All the LT bands will be supported in the product. So we're really doing a good job with the technology to allow for global deployments.
Excellent, excellent. So we just talked about some of the technological capabilities, especially as a provider, what Telit can provide. What about different support capabilities that might be important for enterprises that are looking to go into low power wide area?
Yeah, so I think from the technical support side, what I do at Telit is I run our application engineering team, and so we have a team of engineers that are helping our partners get to market and get to market quickly. And so what we do is we help customers, with technology selection. We help them with product selection. We help them with design and process. So we're doing design reviews for customers at schematic level, Gerber file level. We're consulting on antenna designs, and so we're making sure that customers can get through that certification process very quickly and get to market.
Excellent, excellent. So that's good technological capabilities we just talked about, and then the support capabilities, the human aspect of it, that's also impressive and a good part of the offer, and it comes together and it gets customers to market faster and gets them revenue faster.
Absolutely.
Excellent, excellent. So Ken, thank you so much for being on the show today, and I want to encourage all the viewers and all the listeners to make sure that you go on telit.com, where we have a lot more information about this low power wide area, mobile IoT evolution, and a lot more information on OneEdge, SimWise, and the support that teams like Ken offer as well. Thank you, Ken.
Okay, great. Thanks, Chris.